impact to the symmetrical key-based cryptography by increasing the key size. Next slide, please. Well, then the question is whether we have those. We have found that quantum resistant cryptography or not. The answer is yes. During the last decade, this post-quantum cryptography has been a very active area. And every year, recent years, at least several hundreds of papers published in the conference journals talk about post-quantum cryptography. The major categories, these lattice-based, code-based, multivariate, and hash-based signature, and Assange elliptic curve-based schemes. So some of them are pretty new, and some of them already proposed many years ago. For example, like a code-based, and was first proposed in 1970s. So in the past several decades, and a lot of variations to improve the performance, reduce key size, and different kind of metric of distance, Hamming distance, rank-based, and different. And the lattice-based was proposed in 1990s, and also with many different versions, different kind of harness assumptions, and so not every category is completely new, but the ones is speed up in the last few years. Next slide, please. So then some people already know NIST very well, and so that's why NIST takes this leadership in the post-quantum cryptography standardization. This chart reflects NIST crypto standards. We have public key-based, and we have digital signatures in FIPS 186. We have key establishment in special publication 856A, B, and C. And we also have symmetrical key-based like AES, like hash functions, SHA-2, SHA-3 families, HMAC, and SHA-3 derived functions. We have some guidelines about key generation and hash usage. We have some basic toolkits like random number generation and key derivation functions. When we talk about NIST crypto standards, we will talk a very important part in this NIST crypto standard. That is CMVP, Crypto Module Validation Program. So in the ICMC, that conference, and C stands for cryptographic, M stands for module. So once we have the standards, we need to do the validation. So that is why in this ICMC2 conference, we already had this quantum track in the past 4 or 5 years, and many kind of presentations how to deploy post-quantum cryptography. Next slide, please. Well, here is some major NIST PQC milestones. And in 2016, we announced our plan to develop PQC standards. and we have the announced call for proposals. So in this call for proposals, we include some criteria and requirements. That is a very important work for us to determine what we are looking for. In 2017, before the deadline of the submission, we received 82 submissions, and we announced the 69 first-round candidates. In 2018, we had the major analysis, and we had the first PQC conference in Florida. And in 2019, we narrowed down to the 26 second-round candidates, and we held the second NIST PQC Standardization Conference. And 2020, something brand new in the last few weeks, we announced the third-round candidates. It consists of 7 finalists and 8 alternate candidates. So these are the major milestones for NIST PQC standardization. Next slide, please. Too far back. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I think let's have some fun to see the P and Q timeline, right? P stands for PQC, Q stands for quantum computers. And we will use this formula by Professor Mosca about, hello? Hello?
We can hear you, but I think the percentage.
Yeah, but I don't see the slide anymore.
Nope.
Let's wait, Bill. Why don't you ask some questions during the time we don't have a slide? Anyone have a question now?
Dr. Chen, on symmetric algorithms,
yes.
Do you envision like an AES 512 being standardized?
Not yet. Not yet. So because always remember this, when we talk about for the symmetric key cryptography, we are talking about a square root of the complexity. However, it's completely equivalent. We still need to evaluate about the quantum 2 to the 64. What does that mean? And how the dollar figures. So NIST will provide guidance on that once we have the exact measurement about the cost for the quantum computer to find the keys. Any more questions? Let me see if I can share the slides. I still cannot, so let's wait, Bill.
Lily? This is Chris Guy from George Mason University. Can I have a question?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Yes, so far it seems that lattice-based cryptography has this advantage that it can support, both digital signatures and key establishment functionality. Do you see that in any near future any other family can be trusted to support these two functionality, from the mathematical security point of view.
Can you please repeat your question one more time?
Yes, so now, judging based on the results of round 2 and round 3, as well as the support from NSA, it seems that only lattice-based cryptography is trusted to support both digital signatures and key establishment. But do you think that any other family out of remaining 4 has a chance in the predictable future to reach the same goal, to have support of both key establishment and digital signatures functionality?
Yeah, I think the question is about the structured lattice, right? Whether the structured lattice can support both key and the digital signature.
Oh, no, my question is more about other families, whether other families, have a chance to be trusted in the near future to support the second functionality they are currently not recognized for.
Hi, Lily, this is Bill. I think I got disconnected, but I'm back now.
Yes, can we back to the slide? Is there something wrong with the slide?
No, you should be able to see it now.
Okay. So Chris, we can come back a little bit later. Let me see if Bill can.
Are you able to see it? Should be visible. Are you able to see it, Lily?
Yes. I haven't seen the slide yet. No, not yet.
Slide? Okay, let me try again.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Let me try again. Okay, it's not letting me share. I'm sorry. I'm going to see what I can do. If you want to do some Q&A in the meantime, I think that would be good. Lily, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, one Bill pull up the slide. Let me answer one of the question, which probably.
Okay. I'm not able to share the slides. I'm going to sign off and sign back on again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to do some Q&A in the meantime, that'd be great.
So there is a posted question for. So let me read that question from Mike Quinsworth. So migration from RSA to PQC, NIST has a one-day workshop coming up. Beyond that, is NIST planning to publish standards or guidelines for industry migration? So that's a very good question. Right now, we only have a white paper. It's from NCCOE and about the migration. And we will work with industry after we have the PQC standards. We will try to see if we need to have, we can make some guidance for the transition. We will need to work with different standard organizations, different applications, and different industry to work on that, to work on the migration strategy.
Okay, Lily, you should be able to see my screen now.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We saw your screen for a few seconds.
I think that was somebody else's screen.
Yeah, that was my screen. And I'm not sure why I'm allowed to present, but I was able to share my screen.
Okay, I see. So let's go to the comments discussion area. So there is a e-print paper to talk about assignee-based signatures, I guess. And then someone sends James Hill about Chris' question to referring whether we might see a code-based signature or multivariate encryption, etc. Yeah, that's actually a very good question, because we have wished that we have something like RSA, but we don't. As the time goes, and for example, lattice, code-based, we didn't see very successful design for the signature yet. And for multivariate, we haven't seen very successful design for the key encapsulation or key agreement yet. Is that the question, Chris?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah, we hope and we could, but sometimes we kind of think for the before the quantum, we already used everything, looks perfect, like RSA and Diffie-Hellman. So we don't think we can have those. But who knows, and we'll see. And so now it's still 2020, and we still have a few years to go.
Right. So it seems it's a good research topic, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So let's see how Bill is doing with this. I guess, let's see, that's really kind of probably because we cannot use Zoom. So this is this presentation has rescheduled several times. At the very beginning, Bill said that we will use Zoom, but I said that I can set up my personal computer to use Zoom. Because we are not allowed to use Zoom from the government property. And then before this meeting, Bill changed to use Google meeting. I think that gave us some challenge.
Not really. I'm back again. Sorry about that.
Can you make it, Bill, now?
I'm back on. I'm having terrible connectivity trouble. I'm going to try and share again. Okay. Can you see it now?
Oh, yes. Very good. So we can start from this slide. So a lot of the audience probably are familiar with the way we required for the security. And both for the secure definitions and the secure strings. So basically, when we talk about secure strings, we are talking about security strings to the equivalent class, right? So this is, we have the 5 categories, the different levels, like to equivalent to break AES 128 by classical computers and quantum computers. So this is the way we define the secure strings. Next slide, please. So then I wouldn't spend too much time on the 3 rounds of the candidates. So for the first round candidates, I want to emphasize is that it reflected the enthusiasm from our community. We received 82 submissions from 25 countries and 6 continents. So then 69 accepted as complete and proper. For the first round, we just checked whether they have everything we require. So from the first round, back to the quiz question, you can see that for the code-based, there are 17 KEM and encryption, only 2 signatures. For multivariate, there are 7 signatures, only 2 KEM and encryption. Next, please. Next slide. Yeah. For the second round, and we plan to have a very smaller second round. However, we want to keep the diversity. You can see that in the second round, right? Code-based, only 7 KEM encryption, no signatures, because those 2 signatures didn't survive. And for the multivariate, only signatures. So for the second round, the keyword is diversity. We wanted to give the community plenty of time to think about different directions to explore all the possibilities and opportunities. Next slide, please. Okay, the third round is different. Instead of we say how many finalists, we have 2 categories. One is a finalist, and another is alternate candidates, right? In this chart, we have red color for the finalists, and we have green color for alternate candidates, right? For the finalists means what? Finalists means that NIST considers to be more promising to fit the majority of use cases. So this, most of the finalists we think are generally applicable to many applications. So we most likely to be ready for standardization soon after the end of the third round. Then for alternate, that means they have certain potentials but we might need more work, and we means NIST and the design teams and the whole community for the future standardization. Most likely, after the third round, we will have another round to look into those alternate candidates. So this is about the third round. Next slide, please. Well, during last 4 years, we cut down twice, from the first round to second round, and then from second round to third round. So the challenges in selecting the algorithms from one round to the next in these aspects, but not limited to these aspects. So the first about the classical security. So that reminded me that when I started to work on the public key cryptography standard, and in 1990s, the beginning of 1990s and the middle of 1990s, and we don't have a privileged security. We don't know a lot of things, but now we know more, and we know we have complete secure definitions. And however, for each of the design, everything needs to be re-evaluated. And each of the schemes, even for the classical security, there are many new features and new properties and new issues. One example is decryption failure rate. We have never dealt with that with RSA. And now we need to consider what that imply to the security. Quantum security is another challenge aspect because there are many different complexity models used in estimating the quantum security level. And numerous possibilities for new discoveries. Every year, there are some different ways to estimate the quantum security. So the performance. Today, the cryptography has been implemented in different kind of platforms and for many, many applications. So do we have a good idea about how these schemes will work with different platforms and applications? And there are some trade-offs, and some schemes have large public keys but small signatures, and large public keys and small cipher text. And some could have like faster operations, but large keys. So we need to look into different trade-offs to understand the preference. So these are the challenges when we select algorithms. In next slide, we will talk about something more challenging. So next slide, please. Well, this slide, we are talking about transition and migration. So think about today, we have TLS, we have IPsec, use public key cryptography. We have a lot of protocols use public key cryptography for communication security, and we also have code signing to verify the software update and the new apps you want to download and everything. So from the crypto standard, like we have a FIPS or special pub standard, the first step to put that to the chips, to the hardware implementations. Then these kind of libraries and the toolkits will be used in the different kind of device internet routers and laptops, cell phones, servers, and everything. So we need to understand the new features and characters in implementation challenges to complete the transition from standard to the hardware implementation and to the device, to the products. And we need to identify barriers, why it cannot work, and what the issues they are, and showstoppers. And we can alter the disruptions in operation and security, neither of them, right? So it won't be as easy as change a bulb from the lighter bulb. That's easy. So that is a challenge, the more challenging part. Next slide, please. So I want to say a few more things about the migration strategies. I know we kind of a little bit delayed sometime. It's about time up for this conference call. So first is crypto agility. So that could mean a lot of things to the hardware device and to the protocol level. So some protocol has negotiation of cyber suites, like TLS, but some don't. And then we hope through the prototype, we can get the first-hand experience to see how it will work in the real-life applications. And we need to have a schedule, we need to have a plan, and to have a phased schedule to replace the algorithms based on the product. But the one thing I want to say, because I'm concerned, I know a lot of people want to jumpstart to do the PQC. They want to claim that they already quantum proof, they have quantum security to their product. But I want to say, don't commit to any specific candidates, even the finalists, because it's very likely NIST will, the design team for the third round will allow the tweaks for their algorithm specification, and NIST, before NIST make the final selection for the standardization. Don't try that direction. That's a high risk. And also, we need to understand sometimes we need to make the justification or adaptation to the protocols. We hope we have a drop-in replacement in the existing applications. But if not, we need to see what we can change to make it work. So that probably is my last slide. And Bill, can you turn to the last slide, final slide? Okay, this is about timeline. And we hoped we can have a third conference next spring. And right now, we are working with different conferences they want to co-locate with us. And we might have to make a virtual conference. It really depends how the pandemic will get control. And we still plan to release the draft standards in 2022 to 2023 timeframe for public comments. And we want you to watch us and follow us, participate in the discussions, and make suggestions and comments. So this contact information. So that end my talk is a little bit longer than I kind of planned, but I hope we still have some time for questions. Bill, do we have time for questions?
Yes, we do. If anybody has a question, please unmute ask your question, please remember to mute when you're done. Looks like we have some questions in the chat as well, Lily.
Let me see the chat box. Oh, yeah, just hybrid schemes. Yes. So now the question is, did you just reference hybrid schemes? Can you comment on that? That's my favorite question, actually. So a lot of the standard I could answer at least is about p derivation function. So the hybrid mode will relate to the key derivation function. So right now, as you know, for the CMVP for the validation, we only make the validation for NIST standard, right? Not for the candidate, not for the potential standards. So in this case, a lot of protocols like to do the hybrid mode. That means, for example, they do RSA or Diffie-Hellman key establishment together with a PQC scheme. Then they combine the two shared secret, and then to get a key derivation, use a key derivation function to get the shared keys. So recently we published a draft 856C about key derivation. So in that basic kind of protocols, like we don't call our scheme as protocol, basic schemes like Diffie-Hellman, like MQV, you can add one component as a shared secret to do the key derivation function. So if you have a valid crypto module for those, and if you add the hybrid mode component, we would like to make sure that you still can get the fixed 140 validation. However, that is a decision for the application, whether you want to make the hybrid mode as a long-term plan, or you just want to have a transition plan. That's up to each of the applications. Okay, let me see other questions.
So there's a question about the slides. I think, are you okay with us posting the slides after the event, Lily?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Are you okay with us posting the slides after this event?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll make the slides available to everybody. If you look at the question from Jonathan there, I'll read it out loud.
Oh, yeah, right. That question is about the hash-based signature, right? So let me explain a little bit. This is something I didn't get into the details. For hash-based signature, we have two kinds of hash-based signatures. One is the stateful hash-based signature. That means you need to manage the state. That has been two versions. One is the XMSS and another is the LSXS. Already have the IETF already have the RFCs for those. So NIST have a draft publication as 800-202. I believe that's the number for the stateful hash-based signatures. That means for this PQC, call for contributions, call for proposals, hash-based stateful hash-based signature is not in the scope. However, stateful hash-based signature is in the scope of the PQC of NIST standards. And another is the stateless hash-based signatures. Currently, we have a candidate. It's the third round. Alternate candidate is called Sphinx Plus. That is a stateless hash-based signature. I hope I answered the question, and thank Rafa to point this to that website. And next question, let's see, will NIST publish the received summary of round 3 changes before October 1st? Well, we will give a summary, if not a really formal publication, at least we will give the list of the tweaks. Essentially, we will post the third round candidates, and we required each of the design team to summarize what they tweaked, and so that you can see from each of the candidates. Okay, would there be a time frame for official publication of SP 800-208 for stateful HBS? Well, we are still kind of resolve the comments, and hopefully, if I'm not the lead of that project, the lead is a lot of people in this audience know him, my colleague Maury Working, and he is lead this effort. Hopefully, it will not take too long to publish SP 800-208. Okay, so the next question is, does NIST plan to publish a guideline and proposals for PQ migration regarding PKI and their certificate? So the answer to this question is yes, we will. And however, in which format is we might work with ITF, we might work with the PKI organization to publish that guideline, or NIST may publish as a NIST guideline. And we can do that either way, but at this moment, we don't have a precise plan about which way is the better way to work on that. Even we publish a NIST guideline, we will work with industry, with PKI people to provide that guideline. So I think that's all questions on the chat box. How we are doing, Bill? Should we wrap up? Any more questions?
We're good, unless somebody else has a question. I think we'll wrap up. Oh, there's a question that just popped up.
Yes, differently. Well, that question is about different implementations are claiming PQC TLS implementations is too early to do that. Well, it's not too early to try on the TLS with different candidates, and it's too early to claim something about quantum proof TLS protocol or something. So it depends on what you claim.
Great. Okay, I think we're good. Thanks everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We were recording, so hopefully we got most of the session, and we will have the slides. We'll send everybody an email with a link to all of the presentations and materials. ICMconference.org is our website. Please check out the post-quantum track there. And if you have any questions, just contact me. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.